Oh.
Welcome back to Don's Life. Welcome to the channel. I got Mrs. Don's Life with me here. This is a DIY channel, so today we're going to do some DIY home improvement. Now, when your wife comes to you and she says, honey, can we buy this thing for the house? And you're like, well, the one we have is perfectly fine. You're just doing this out of some sort of, for looks, or I really don't know because I don't understand it. You say no, now's not the right time. And then they go and they destroy the item that was perfectly fine. Just obliterate it.
Well, it wasn't perfectly fine if I was able to destroy it.
So now we'll get there. So now we were forced to replace our blinds, but with powered ones. You might find this interesting.
Let's go.
All right, I think it's storytelling time. So what exactly happened here?
So my blinds are a little messed up. Oh, I can't even get them down.
What happened?
There was a wasp in my kitchen. I don't think I can tell this with a straight face. There was a wasp and it was winning, so I had to make sure it didn't. And it destroyed the blinds. It hid in the blinds.
Its wings hit that, or it got in the blinds?
It got in the blinds and I didn't know what to do. It was just on the blinds.
Not even in the blinds, it's on the blinds. What'd you do?
I just tapped it. I just tapped it with a ice water.
Okay, well, how old are these blinds? So people know.
So probably 10 years old, but I don't think they're supposed to do this. Like, I can just touch them and they just tear.
They're dried right out.
Yeah, like they're just destroyed.
That's sun damage. I mean, look at little pieces are falling.
And it's dusty. Ooh.
Okay, so we are going to replace these.
Yes.
All right, so this is not my expertise, so I'm going to have to ask you all the questions for the audience, but what style is this, first of all?
They are called zebra blinds.
Okay, because of the alignment of the panels.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. There's stripes, zebra blinds. And then you have this here, which is your valance,
Yeah.
I'm guessing. And this is matching the strips on here, so it's the same. Okay, perfect. So what do you have in your hand there?
So this is the company we decided to go with, Yoolax. I've seen them all over the internet and everybody seems to rate them really well. So thought we should give them a try.
Okay. Now we checked out where? Costco?
Costco, Select Blinds, Budget Blinds. I think there's a few different ones in Canada. We don't really have a lot of options.
Okay, so why'd you pick these guys?
I wanted the ones that could go with Alexa.
You wanted ones we could do remote?
Yeah.
And powered and all that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot are powered, but you wanted Alexa compatibility because we use that smart home. Okay.
Yeah. So these are the ones we went with, and we ordered directly from the company, although you can get them from Amazon too. I think just certain ones you can get on Amazon, but we went directly with the company and they sent me some samples.
So wasn't that part of it, the fact that they're willing to send you samples?
Yeah, I think it was like $5 and they send you all the different kind of colors they have.
Okay, and then we landed on what we landed on. So they're here and we'll see if it works out. Now, how do you make sure they're going to fit these openings? Can you remind me of the process?
So they do everything for you. You just send them the width of your window and the length of your window, whether you want it inside.
So this panel here,
yeah,
all the way to this side. You give them that measurement, and they'll even account for this gap right here that you may have existing. Now, I do know this part, so I'm going to talk about it. When you go to pick out your blinds with this company, they show the mount up at the top. We have these pocket windows here that we still want to utilize. So when we take this down, we're going to have to find a way to attach the brackets similar to these ones here. Maybe we can leave these in place. That's kind of what I was thinking. And then we'll attach the brackets for the new blinds to these L brackets that are here. I bought some hardware just in case, some smaller L brackets in case we need to use them. So I suspect that might be the way we need to go. But the last thing I wanted to do was put screws into these uprights here because that's the only structure that we have. And I don't want to break any seals. This is an exterior wall. It's a window, obviously. So I don't want to have any issues with air leaks, condensation, that type of thing. Okay, so you send them the measurements.
And then you have to let them know if you want an inside or outside mount. Obviously ours are inside.
Right, because you could stick the mount to the outside here where the casing or the frame is.
Right, and I think they recommend that if you want blackout shades and you don't want any
Yes, so for our home theater downstairs, we might do that.
Right.
So we don't get any light coming through, because we want the same style as this, which is gonna allow light to kind of come through the sides here. If you were to get the outside mounts, you would mount them to here, and then your panel would stay pretty flat to here, and you wouldn't get the extra light peeking around the corner. Okay, but their website does everything for you, right? You just
so they
punch it all in?
for I think there's like a 1/4 of an inch allowance on each side or something. And I know they're very precise. Before they even cut, they email you and make sure everything is exactly what you want. There's different shade levels too.
Okay.
So we went with, because we have a TV that we can never see,
it's always reflecting during the day.
We went with 90% blackout on the main level. And then for the kids' bathroom in your office, we went with 80%. And yeah, they're really good to work with.
This is not a sponsored video, right?
No.
We are just taking a crack out of this.
I'm just hoping I love them that we're making this video for them.
That's a good point. If we don't like the color that you pick,
right.
what
So
happens?
if you don't like the color, they will do an exchange, I think, one time free. I do know they will just resend you the actual material, and you probably have to install it in the balance.
Right, so they'll send you like the core,
Yeah.
the tube of the fabric and the right length, and then you would just install that.
And it's fast. I think 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks. That's fast for us Canadians.
Yeah.
We're used to everything taking a month.
Coming from China, probably. So.
Everything does. I'm from China, didn't you know? Okay, well, I think we should crack this open and find the right one to install there. You know, before we crack it open, we should take that down and clean that area. Okay, that's down. Now let's unbox this big long box, which is going to be that living room window and this kitchen window.
Smart.
Okay, now one of these should be labeled. Actually, both should be labeled, but one of these is going to be for the kitchen. Let me explain these brackets and how to mount them. So these brackets are going to clip in like that, with this touching the wall or this touching the top of the opening. Problem is, like I mentioned before, we need ours to be around here. Now, I'm not going to drill into the casing here. Like I said, I don't want to have the seals compromised or any issues. So I need to find a way to utilize these brackets here or some other L brackets, which I picked up because these ones stick out a little bit. But we should be able to attach these to there. It's really not that much difference. And these aren't extremely heavy blinds. So I think we'll be able to do this. I'm gonna try it with these brackets first, but if this is a little too thick, I have some other L brackets we're gonna try out. At least that's the plan. I'm just gonna do this for a few minutes. Oh, hi there. Yeah, so we're gonna test fit this to see if it fits between those brackets. If not, we'll replace the brackets like I said. We have this strap on here that says Yoolax. It's recommended you do not take that off until you're done mounting the blind, because it's already programmed with the right length of material for where it is going to roll up to and where it's going to extend out to. So you don't want to mess up with that calibration, if you will. So let's see if this fits. I don't think it will. I think it's going to be really close. No, I'm going to have to go with the smaller bracket. So change of plans. The blinds are a little too tight for the existing brackets if we keep them in the orientation they were before. So we're going to reuse the bigger brackets that we had for the old blinds, reverse them like I've done here. So you can see it's inverted now. We'll fill these with white silicone so you won't see them. And then we will paint this white. We'll just mask around it and paint it white when we're all done. So it should blend in just fine. It's unfortunate, but because of these pocket windows up top, we don't really have a lot that we can do, because I told you I'm not going to drill and put any holes on this side here. So now I mounted the bracket very firm to the bracket here. And how this works is it's a little spring mechanism, and it'll clip into the top of the blind. There's grooves and channels on there. All right, we have them mounted on both sides. You can see how that's mounted there. Again, it's really sturdy. It's not like these blinds are 50 pounds or anything. I'm not sure how much they weigh, but that should hold. And it is level because I used the same spacing, squared everything off, so that's all figured out. So now we just have to make sure we can mount it. All right, success. It's mounted, but we had to take this off before we mounted it because if this piece right here isn't folded under a little bit, it makes it impossible to get this all the way against the frame of the window, because you have to hook it into this corner first, and then it'll hook on with some little teeth. Try and focus here. You can see these little teeth underneath there. So you hook it into the back, and then it hooks into those little teeth. So you have to kind of twist it, and then I did it on that end. So here's a bracket for an example. You hook it into the back first, it flexes a bit, and then you hook it into those front latches, and then it holds your blind up. So just so everybody's clear on this, when you order these, they are supposed to leave you a little bit of a gap. So these fit tighter than they probably should have, but I guess we'll finish installing some more to determine that. But for now, they're mounted. We'll paint those white. Really not that huge of a deal, at least for us. And when you're standing back, once the blinds are doing their thing, I don't think it'll really matter. So you might be wondering, where's the motor, where's the battery? Well, the motor's over here. You have a couple different options depending on what you want them to be compatible with. We went with the motor that's compatible with Alexa. You pull this signal stopper out here, and now it'll enter programming mode. You can manually enter programming mode by holding down this button. These are the antenna or antennae. So they receive the signal. And then if you order a remote, you can do a physical remote, or, sorry, there's cooking going on in the background. Okay, so we have a bit of a lighting change because we stopped to eat some dinner. Thanks for dinner, by the way. So we ordered a remote, which you have in your hand there. And these were labeled number 3 out of the 5 that we ordered. So you have to change it to channel 3. I think it's on there already. So let's try it out. Push the down button. And we got the blackout shades in here, right?
Yeah.
So
not blackout, 90% blackout.
90%.
These are only at 90% because I think to go to 100% you have to go to a roller shade. I don't think these come at 100%, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that was the case though.
And you can speed up the motor, I read that. And they are calibrated because you tell them how high your space is too, that they should stop. Don't push the remote, let's see if it stops. People are gonna think you touched the remote.
I didn't.
So when I sent my measurement in, I went from the bracket. That's why I reused this bracket in the same spot, just flipped it. I think that works out pretty good. So I'm gonna finish installing that one, and the one in the office. And then by then it'll be nighttime, and then we'll demonstrate using the app and using Alexa. What can I say? It's not the same evening. It's actually about 3 weeks later, and your hair color's changed.
Yeah.
So
his is probably grayer just
probably
from this whole ordeal.
So I'm going to keep this as short as possible. If you're buying these to have a trouble-free Alexa compatibility experience, I can't recommend it based on that, but I can recommend it based on ease of install and working fine with its own app and remote, which we're going to demonstrate. That's fine. But I'm a pretty technical guy. We've even invested in a more modern Alexa device, even though the last one that we had is only a year old. We have Echo Shows, we have Dots, we have everything. But we made sure the latest one was Zigbee compatible for the Zigbee motors that we ordered in these blinds, and we're still running into problems. Everything you'll be seeing can be added. It just says device unresponsive. And then it says it is responsive, but then you go to do a command or try something, it doesn't work. Anyway, I'm not gonna bore you with that because that was our struggle and that was our stress. We did not get divorced, so that's a good thing.
But we did buy these for the Alexa compatibility.
We did, but I think what we're gonna do is buy some extra physical remotes and just live with them that way because the blinds look good. And from outside, I'll overlay some footage here. Like they really do add a lot of privacy. Right now it is dark outside, so I'll go outside and I'll overlay footage here and you can see just how well they work. We can see our TV now during the daytime and we're pretty happy with that. We have privacy again, so we can kiss and hug and all that stuff.
And they don't rip when I touch them.
And they don't rip when wasps land on them.
Well, we haven't tested that yet. There hasn't been another one yet.
Let me handle the wasps from now on. Okay, so let's do a demonstration of the app and the remote. Okay, let's do the remote first. Okay, so we have 5 sets. Them? Yes, you made a label because you're crafty that way. But it's very easy to hit these thinking you're changing which blind it is. We know which is which. I think this one is number 2.
It says.
Oh, yeah.
Dining 3.
Dining, I don't even know. That's how easy it is. Okay, so channel 3, and then we can do up or down. And these have limits that you can set. Here, you should demonstrate it. So these have limits that you can set. So they, for example, when they go all the way down, you might have a window crank at the bottom and you don't want the blind to hit that crank and kind of bow out a little bit. So you could have it stop a little early. There's an example here. We have a window crank. So we set the stop limit to not hit the window crank. So go ahead, Mrs. Dawn's Life, do a command. So that's up and that's going all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
So for the noise level, they're moderate. They're certainly not silent, but I wouldn't say that they're overly loud either.
They're not noisy. You can just hear a bit of a motor.
Right.
Just a little hum.
So there's a favorites button. What does that do? You can set it to do what exactly?
To where you want it
To just
during
be?
the day, or if you want it closed, that could be your favorite, if having it closed. But
So any spot could be your favorite.
yeah, and I set that. It's within the app.
You set your favorite to be where these are perfectly aligned for the space to let light through.
Yeah.
You want to hit the favorite button so we can see? Okay, so that's your favorite, that height with that spacing.
Yes. I just checked all the battery levels, and I think the office and the bathroom are still at 100. And because these 3 get moved the most, I think they're still at like 90. One's at,
Well, we can check in the app.
yeah, one's in the 90s.
So we
one's in the
charged
70s.
all of these with the USB-C connector right there. Then you just plug it into a wall charger like you would with your phone. But let's have a look at the app now, and then we can see their charge state, considering it's been 3 weeks and we haven't recharged them. Talk to me on what you're doing on the app and I'll overlay
So
the
I
app on
can
the
just
screen.
close them all, or I'll just open them all. So I'll go to morning scene, and it puts them all to the favorite. So go to here.
All to the favorites location.
Yeah.
So this one's moving too.
Yeah. And then when it's done, and then I can also go to night scene, which I'll just wait till that one's. So then the night scene, and then it just closes them all, because that's just what I name them, morning and night. I'm so creative.
All right, so show me the battery level on the least used room, maybe the upstairs bathroom
No, probably the office.
or the office.
Yeah. So it's still at 100.
Okay, and then show me the battery level on this one, which is one of the larger ones, which gets used most often.
And so that one's at 76.
76, so 3
That's
weeks
it.
to be at 76%.
4 weeks, yeah.
So you could get a couple months out of it probably.
Yeah, I think that's what they said. Usually every couple months is when
Okay.
people need to. I mean, you can get a solar charger that you attach, but I just didn't want the look of it.
So I think this is going to conclude today's video for the Yoolax Motorized Blinds. Now, the pros, they install easy, they look great, they work as advertised, at least when it comes to light transmission or restricting light transmission. The remote works great if you order the remote. I think we're going to order a couple of more of these just so we can have them in the rooms that we need them. Because when it comes to Alexa, I can't recommend them for that feature, nor can you.
No, but I'm going to figure it out.
We're not giving up, but it's been 3 weeks and we just have some other priorities than worrying about this. Using the remote's not the end of the world. Using an app's not the end of the world. Note on the app though, you can only install it on one device, so whether it be a tablet or a phone. Because I went to put the app on my phone, she had it on her phone, but because it's connecting with Bluetooth, it's only connecting to one device's Bluetooth address and it can't work on both. So if I want it to work on my phone, for example, then I have to pair it all with my phone and then it kicks her off. So everything's set up with her phone. I'm Mr. Remote Guy, but it's not the end of the world. Anyway, you can get these on Amazon. I'll leave links in the video description below if you want to check them out for yourself. You don't even have to get Alexa compatible ones. You can get some that are compatible with other smart home protocols. We went with Alexa because we have an Alexa set up in our home and it just hasn't worked out that well for us. But if we figure it out, we will update this video.
We are going to figure it out.
So if you like today's video, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing. We'll talk to you next time.